Hello and welcome to the Ironverse. My name is Hugo and today we'll be experimenting with some custom world generation. Um, Sorry for the late video today. Um, it's a bit more difficult during the holidays to do this, um, but I'll make sure to still post every day. Um, Alright, so we'll go ahead. Um, so last time when we were experimenting, we did some kind of pillar-like terrain. Let me go up. Yeah, so this is how it looked. Pretty interesting. Um, that's pretty cool. Today, I want to experiment and see how we can make some caves. Um, uh, Maybe with a different kind of base terrain, just so that it's easier to see. Um, but I just want to get more familiar with um, code that would generate caves, so that we can integrate it with other map generating algorithms. So that's what we'll do. We'll get right into it. All right. So I haven't done much research on this. Um, Probably should have, but um, what I wanted to try. And if it doesn't make caves, I'm sure it'll make something else interesting. So before I do caves, I want to have uh, similar terrain as what we used to what we started with originally. So that's what I've already done beforehand. This is the original kind of hilly terrain that we had, and so that's already set up. And what I want to do on top of this is, um, if um, so, there's a 3D version of the noise algorithm that we use. Um, so instead of inputting an x and a y value, or the x and the z in this case, you can actually input three values. So it would be the x, the y, and the z. And so let's go ahead and experiment with that. Or well, first of all, let's just put this one in so we can see how it looks, and then we'll see the difference that the changes that we'll have done on top of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a branch, caves, and I'll switch to it. All right, and we have to push. Oh, I don't have it set up here, but it is set up over here, I believe. Or it's because we haven't done any changes. Oh no, we had this issue before. Let me just restart VS Code. It seems like there's something going on with VS Code. Yeah, so I just restarted it. It should solve the issue. I think we ran into the same issue before. Let me make sure that I'm on the branch that I think I am. Yeah, I'm on caves. And there we go. Push. There we go. And so we should be able to use the caves branch now. So we'll go ahead and change that. Git apply. God. Log back in. Custom terrain test. Alright, and this is our hills that we know very well. Alright, so I expect, or what I'm going to do is use a 3D algorithm and basically cut holes inside of these hills. So I expect chunks of these hills to be missing. Um, um, so it should ideally form some caves. I don't know what kind of caves, but we'll just test it out and play with the numbers a little bit. Great. So let's go back to the code. All right. So let's just copy paste this. Or hold on a second. So this will be get 3D noise, and we'll do X, Y, and Z, and we'll use the same frequency value, or not. Let's use a separate variable for the caves, so we don't affect our hills. And we can use the same number for now. We can tweak it later. Create variable y float, and we're essentially going to do the same thing, but with the y. And we will use cave frequency. Should probably specify cave y. Alright, so I'll just do cave. I have to do this for all three, actually. X, Y, and Z. Oops. Okay, so this should give us a value between -1 and 1. And based on that value, you want to either clear whatever's on that tile or leave it as is. So do if if value is maybe greater than 0.5, so anything between -1 and 0.5 would not be touched, and anything greater than this would be. So we'll do data I equals 0. 0 is for empty. Alright, so this will make the hills, and then if there is a high enough value from our 3D noise, then we'll make that empty again. That should cut some holes in the hills. Yeah, let's go ahead and try this out. Let's just commit our changes. Add caves. I'm really wondering what's going to happen to our terrain. So this, if we wanted to do like underground caves, we'd probably add a check to make sure that it only cuts out caves when it's below a certain height. But right now it's doing it everywhere. So let's say we were to add some logic to create floating islands. Parts of those islands would actually be cut off by this logic as well. So we're just testing out the logic here, but a lot can be done to improve that. So let's just log out and log back in. We should get some caves. Let's see if we did this right. For some reason I can't seem to jump. Am I maybe stuck underneath something? Okay, it's working fine now. I think maybe something was still loading above me. Okay, there we go. There's a cave of sorts. Okay. Let's see. See what happened here. So, okay, so there seems to be some bugs. Yeah, this should not. I'm a little bit confused as to why this doesn't match up. As it should, but okay. So, seems like our caves are just like straight lines in this direction. I think. Let's see. I think maybe our frequency is too high. If we lower it, we should be able to see more curves. Because it could be that it's just one huge thing, and it just looks like a straight line to us. So we'll lower the frequency for one. The other thing is I'm really unsure as to why the terrain kind of did this. So we'll look at the code. Maybe maybe I did a silly mistake somewhere. But yeah, we see that something happened. Yeah. All right. So let's go back. Okay. So did we miss something? We didn't multiply by anything at the end, but that's fine. We didn't need to. Yeah, we'll lower the frequency, see what happens. And maybe there's too much over here. Maybe we'll increase this so the caves will be a bit less frequent, or there'll be a smaller range of values upon which they'll affect the terrain. And yeah, 10 times less frequency. I think we can try this just like that. Tweak caves. Push. So let's leave and come back. I didn't see anything wrong that would cause these visible areas to appear. Yeah, let's see. Disconnect. Step back in. We're underground. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can find a cave somewhere. We'll see better from the top of the hill. I don't see anything. Ooh. caves are not frequent enough now for us to see them. Higher up, you might see more. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, so I think we'll bring the value down. Maybe we should have left that one as is. Yeah. So over here, greater than 0.5. Because we did lower the frequency quite a bit as well. And this value might be more related to the size of the caves. Take a good look at this one, just in case I may have missed something. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong. Maybe I'm blind, but we'll see. I still don't see any caves. Did we lower the frequency too much then? I guess so. I don't think lowering the frequency 10 times would make that big of a difference, but seems like we lowered it too much. I don't even see caves like loading behind anything, behind the hills. Alright, well, let's go back to code and let's do let's try this. Oh, look at this. I think this is this is probably why we had some issues with the terrain not matching up. I think maybe. Anyway, the I would think it was still. Yeah, I think the terrain not matching up was some other issue, but this definitely would have messed with our terrain. Could have been why the caves were so straight. Yeah, let's see. X, Y, Z. I think we're good now. Yeah, let's push these changes. Hopefully we should see some caves now. Maybe our frequency might be too low still, or let's see. don't see any holes. We'll increase the frequency. What we saw earlier with the holes, it may have been because of that typo. Alright, so pretty slowly. Yeah, no caves just yet. Alright, let's try something else. So, originally we were at 0.025. That's when we saw those long caves. But we had this typo. So, it may have been actually a lot smaller, possibly. Yeah, the frequency, I do need to increase. I don't know why I was decreasing it. I do need to increase it, actually, not decrease. Because I want it to be more frequent. I want to see more caves. So, more, bigger value is more. I think I made the same mistake 2 days ago. Alright. Let's go see how it looks. Oh, I see something. I don't think this was there before. Seems like it cut into the mountain a little bit. Pretty shallow holes, but oh, look at that. It's a little bit of a cave. But it's small though. Like I can't fit through there. Need bigger caves, but the frequency seems better. Caves are a lot more frequent now. They're all over the place now. So we'll make the caves bigger. How we're going to do that is we're going to we're going to go back to the code down here. We're going to use a bigger portion of the values that can be generated. So instead of being just the top quarter, let's do like the top half. That this may be too much, but we'll see. We should see a pretty big difference. Cave size. It's not a linear function, so this may have changed it too much. But we'll see. This should be about half though, like half. Yeah, there we go. That part's not. Am I underground or it's just not loaded yet? So they're still smaller than I expected though. But they're bigger though. They're bigger than before. This doesn't go very far. see if we can find some. We need bigger caves. They're bigger. It worked, but they're not big enough. Not quite. Okay, so I thought we didn't change it enough. I thought we changed it too much, but it seems like we didn't change it enough. Oh, look at this one. So yeah, this is a missing triangle. I haven't fixed that yet. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but pretty soon, since I'll be, yeah, so, well, pretty soon. Maybe towards the end of the week or next week. Let's go check a few more caves before we try changing some values. Yeah, this is working pretty well. I can't fit through there. I mean, I could edit the terrain, but I kind of just want to leave it the way it was generated. If I edit a piece of terrain, it's going to save it, and it's not going to regenerate that part. So, just for the sake of this test, I don't want to edit any terrain until we have the features required to be able to manually reset the terrain when we want to. But yeah, this is getting interesting, getting more interesting. Yeah, I think we need quite a bit more more size for these caves. So let's try greater than minus 0.5. Oh, this is the wrong page. Greater than minus 0.5. So this goes between minus 1 and 1. So if it's greater than minus 0.5, that's 3/4 of the possibilities of. So I didn't expect this to be this low for some reason. Anyway. So we'll have to figure out. Well, okay. So later on, after we get the cave size to be how we would like it, we'll probably reduce the cave frequency because right now there's a lot of caves close together. I think I'd rather have bigger caves but a bit less frequent. Let's see how this looks. Oh wow, okay, that was too much. Now the caves has taken over the whole world. Now we just have floating islands everywhere. Which this is actually interesting for some maybe other biome or something. Floating islands. It's taking a lot of time to load because you can see very far in every direction. There's basically holes, nothing's blocking the view, so um, everything loads for very far. Yeah, this is definitely interesting. Probably, if I were to do something like this in the world as a biome, probably want to limit the area it happens over, because right now it's for infinite distance down, infinite distance up. Well, not up because we have those hills that have been cut up, but down for sure. I could basically technically fall forever if I can avoid the little floating um, underground islands. Now, this is interesting. I kind of wanted to save this on a different branch, just so we can refer to it later. Yeah, I'll do that. See if I can. Just trying to see if I can jump there. No, I can't make it. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I like this beginning of a biome that we've stumbled upon. I'm gonna go back up. I want to be above ground for our next tweaks that we'll be doing. Wow, look. You can see the shape of the hills. You can see where, like, you can see clearly there's a hill here. Or there was before it got cut up into pieces. Interesting. Well, I mean, maybe we can see only because we knew that's what was there before. But, anyway. Yeah, pretty interesting. So imagine if we had like a different kind of terrain, and then we did this modification on it. Like, I wonder how the pillars would look. The pillars one that we did 2 days ago, and then if we cut it up like this to make it into floating islands. This is pretty cool. Okay. So I want to make. Let's see, I want to make a branch. I'll say floating islands or fragmented. It's basically like fragmented terrain, right? Or because it doesn't go into the sky. Oh, maybe I'll do sky islands. That's alright. Um, okay, I just want to push the changes so that um, sky islands will exist in the cloud. So if I want to use this later, I can just use the branch sky islands. So we're gonna make some more changes in our caves one, because this is definitely not caves, but it is pretty cool. Okay, so let's switch back. Check out caves. And yeah, let's go ahead and make our changes. So we need something between minus 0.5 and 0, so maybe 75. Kind of want to take this chance to lower the frequency a bit, because with the caves bigger and how frequent they were earlier, they were pretty close together. It could be that the caves, it could be that our value may have been fine, but the caves are maybe just so close together that they merge. I wonder if that might be it. Yeah, I still think the caves are too big, which is part of what caused this. So let's, no, not 0.75, that'll make it worse. Minus 0.25. We'll try this and change the cave frequency as well. Alright, now commit message, changes, and push. Alright, let's reload this world. Okay, so, okay. We've got not quite what I would call islands, but like, I guess pretty snaky terrain. The caves are too big still. This is interesting. Let's go a bit deeper, see how, it looks underground. interesting. Yeah, so they're not islands anymore. It's all connected in a sort of very snaky way with these little pathways. Very cool. Yeah, very cool. But it's still mostly open. Um, yeah, caves are still way too big. Um, it's definitely getting interesting. I almost want to create a branch for this one too, but I think we'll just we won't do that this time. But I definitely want to play around with this kind of biome in the future, see what kinds of things we can do. The character seems like it's uh, bugging out a little bit, like it's a bit jittery. I have to work on the. I think that's the camera. Camera's having trouble locating where it needs to be. All right, so smaller caves. This is pretty cool too. Yeah, I won't make a branch for this one too, just because it's such a small change. I feel like we can get to it pretty easily from the Sky Islands. Alright, so we do minus 0.1. Yeah, I feel like it's still pretty close to 0 like we were before, but we did change the frequency, so we'll see. So it's a lot of trial and error, really, to see what looks the way you want it. Um, in the future, um, it would be nice to make this a little bit more seamless. Right now we have to reload, like log out, log back in. Did anything change? You know, really, I should stop changing I should stop changing multiple values at once, because then, like now, I'm not sure why the terrain is um, not quite the way I expected. I think it's a little bit better, but yeah, let's yeah, because I think both the frequency and the value that we're checking from the noise function have some kind of effect on the cave size. So if, if I go back to 0 on the value from the noise function, because I changed the frequency, I think the caves might even still be too big. Yeah. So I probably need okay. I think I think we're probably going to end up needing 0.5 on this again, and just a change on the frequency, because we definitely want the caves to be a minority of the terrain, and if we're using most of the values, if we're cutting out most of the values we get back from here, then I think that'll be most of the terrain. So zero. Am I making too big of a step? 0.1 maybe. Or 0.25. We can try that. So bigger than the 0 we had earlier, but we don't have the same frequency this time. Did I think I pushed, right? Just to be on the safe side. Okay, so now we're getting to something closer to caves. So maybe on the big side, or maybe just too frequent. Maybe the size isn't too bad actually, but if we, yeah, let's just go down a cave. This one's a bit steep. Let's find another one. I want to find one that I can just walk into instead of jump down. Yeah, these caves are good, more or less. I think the size isn't so bad. There's just too many caves though. So it may be a little bit too big as well, actually. Well, I mean it's fine to have caves this big, but um, not all the caves. Or yeah, I'm unsure. I think this size is all right for the caves. Um, there's just too many caves. Yeah, that's all. We'll probably have to. We may have to tweak the size of the caves again after we change the frequency. Yeah, I like this. Yeah. So it's starting to go somewhere. Let's try to get out of here. Hopefully we don't get trapped. Is there an exit through here? Alright. So we'll lower the frequency and see what happens. We'll probably have to change this value again. I think we'll have to increase it to make the cave smaller. Because if we change when we change the frequency, I expect the caves to get bigger, less frequent but bigger. Yeah. So let's do 10 times less frequent. It's quite a bit less frequent. Maybe we'll do 5 times less frequent. A little bit more incremental. I don't see too much of a difference. Oh, you know what? I think we forgot to push changes. Okay, yeah, that was definitely it. So now we got our hills back. They seem mostly untouched for the most part. Now there's some caves still, and they seem pretty big. Let's go explore one. Let's go up a bit. It's still pretty frequent. So I think I want to reduce the frequency a little bit more. This one just cut through the mountain. That's pretty interesting. But I want to see like a real cave. Yeah, they're definitely too big now. But also a little bit too frequent. Okay, let's go ahead and change that. We'll do frequencies of 0.01. And that's going to increase the size even more, so I'm going to... I said I would only change one thing at a time. Let's just change one thing at a time. It'll be easier. I'm going to come back in. I'm at the underground, so I have to fly up a bit. I just have an idea of how many caves we have. And when we get into a little bit more advanced stuff, you can obviously generate less frequent less frequent large caves, and then more frequent smaller caves, and then you get like a whole network of caves with varying sizes in different areas. So sure, we can go very far with this, combining different stuff. Right now, we're just getting familiar with the basics. Yeah, I only see one cave, so maybe there's some more in this ungenerated part. There might be. Yeah, this looks like another cave. Is this as big as I think it is? This is a pretty big one. Cut the whole mountain so that there's only like a little sky island even remaining. Oh wow, look at that. This whole area got sliced off. This too then. Yeah. Well, it's starting to make sense how it works, how it's generated. Oh, it's not quite a sky island, it's a sky peninsula. A little bit of a piece here connected. That's pretty cool. Oh, this cave is huge. Okay. Alright, let's I think our frequency is pretty good. There's not too many of them. Let's tweak the size. Make this smaller. If I go to 0.5, it's a pretty steep jump, but we'll start with that and do smaller jumps afterwards. Hopefully I didn't go too high. I'm probably on the ground, yeah. Oh, I'm still in a cave. Seems like we still got pretty big caves, so. It's a pretty massive cave. Oh, look at that. There's little holes in the ceiling. I can fly out through there. So very cool. Okay, we need the caves to be smaller. So, do I jump to 0.75 yet, or 0.6? 0.65 maybe? Or I have to go even higher, but do this incrementally so you can see what's happening. Yeah, what would be really cool is if I could find a way to make this like in real time, so that you could see, you can probably tweak your code even side by side here. Like not have to log out, log back in. Make it like very quick feedback. Making the terrain generate faster is also part of that. Okay, now we gotta find a cave. Maybe I made them too small. Oops. Okay. So, yeah, let's go find a cave. There must be one. Is it that I made them too small? Or is it that maybe they're not frequent enough after all? I don't know. We'll see. I wish I could move faster. When you're flying, you tend to want to move faster than walking. I'm thinking this isn't frequent enough. Or, actually, it's probably the caves that are too small. Because the frequencies seem fine. I'm surprised I don't even see a dent anywhere, though. Yeah. Yeah, alright, let's go back and change this. So we'll do something in between 65 and 50, maybe 55. Alright, let's remove this. Oh, is that a cave? I think we found our cave. Seems like it's not loaded yet, but I assume that's a cave. Still seems pretty big. Wow, it's huge. Okay, so so, okay. Seems like very small changes have, at the numbers we're at least, very small changes seems to have dramatic effects on the terrain. So the caves are still too big. I'm going to try 0.6. So eventually we should narrow in on a value um, that, okay, I wasn't paying attention when I pushed, I'll just do it again. We should narrow in on a value that makes us happy. Well, I saw a cave under there. Just gotta find the entrance. So I'm wondering, if it's also possible that earlier when we didn't see any caves, there could have been still a lot of caves, maybe even caves that are too big, but just somehow for some reason they weren't um, we weren't lucky enough for it to connect with the surface. Not sure though. Okay, there's a cave. The entrance seems alright. Yeah, but it's still pretty big under there. Pretty massive cave. Okay, so what do we do about this? So in 2D we get basically a height map, right? And we get certain areas that are the extremes are high areas and the extremes are low areas. In 3D, on the other hand, we get 3D shapes, I guess spheres, where the center of the shape is a high value and then the... I'm just thinking out loud now. See, this is one big uh, sphere shape. It's not really a cave, right? So the question is, how do we translate? Because because now our value is too high. The okay, this thing is too high. I'm getting an isolated little room, and it doesn't connect with other rooms. So this is my spherical area where I have the high values. There's other ones, but there isn't anywhere that connects. So the question is, how do we make this more snaky, thinner? We could, one thing we could do is we could have a different frequency for the y-axis, make the caves less high, and keep the same width. Yeah, that might be actually a pretty interesting. I think that'll get us part of the way where we want to be. So vertically, do we want to increase or lower the frequency? We want we want to increase the frequency, don't we? So we want to flatten everything out. If we lower the frequency, it'll elongate vertically. Yeah, we're going to increase the frequency vertically. And I don't know, maybe we should go back to the 55. That was pretty good. Caves are too big, but I think we'll have to fix the cave size in a different way. So now I'm going to do, you can see this has multiple changes, but not really, because we just saw how this looks. So this, we're just making a change from the previous state. I'm just referring to the, being able to change one thing at a time so that you know what changed what. Alright, so it's this cave frequency here. Cave frequency Y. And I'm going to increase it maybe 5 times. Should make the caves a lot flatter. Yeah. Cave height. Push. Let's find our cave entrance. This one. Never mind. So what happened here is the cave just hit like right under the hill, but it didn't go. It didn't go like into the hill really. It was mostly outside. So we get a cool kind of cliff, I guess. Let's see. Sometimes I think I see a place where there's going to be a cave, but it's just a terrain that I haven't generated yet. Oh, there's one. Pretty big entrance, I'd say. You know what? I have an idea. Yeah, I have an idea for the to get more I guess thin. Oh, never mind. So, well, maybe. So what I was thinking is, because now we're just taking the top, the highest values. What if we only stuck to the middle values, like not take the top or the bottom? So the top or the bottom is just if you go too close, you end up with just rooms. Actually, would the bottom do that? We could try the opposite. The bottom values. That may also solve a problem. So see, the cave is flatter, but it's still huge. This isn't quite what I wanted. But yeah, we can. Still interesting. Alright, so let's go back. So let's forget this cave frequency Y. Just gonna try a couple more things and then we'll call it a night. So maybe if we go between, I'm not sure what range to do, but if it's bigger than say 0.5, but smaller than 0.6. If I do this, I'm going to end up with not really what I want either, right? So I'm going to end up with the like a floating sphere-ish shape in the middle with kind of emptiness all around it. It'll just be a floating shape in the middle of a big room. So, well, because the values are lower, it'll be multiple floating shapes in the middle of a sort of network. But what I wanted to do is try the lower end of the values. So we had 55. But what if we did, instead of bigger than 55, we did less than minus 0.55? I'm not sure how it works in 3D, but in 2D, this would have basically the same result, just instead of low parts would become high parts would become low parts. So in this case, the low parts would, this might work actually. This might be what we want, so we'll see. This, I don't know. We might not actually be achieving anything here. It might be just like in 2D. It's gonna be the same thing. We'll see. It would be the zero values that are all the stuff close to zero. Maybe that was what we want. Underground. Let's go higher. Hopefully we can find a cave entrance somewhere. I don't see any caves. I guess we're back to tweaking the values. This loaded faster. If we could move faster, but also if it loaded faster, this would be a lot easier. Yeah, we'll tweak the values. So the caves maybe they're too small. 3.6 right maybe. Oh wait, what am I thinking? So 2.45. That'll give us bigger range of values. Okay, did I push? Below ground. Okay. Oh, I think maybe, yeah. Looks like a cave over there. The other thing is, considering the size of the hills, they're pretty small hills. If I'm expecting there to be an entrance in a hill without the caves being too frequent, oh, interesting. Without the caves being too frequent, then that's obviously going to be less likely. Um, yeah, so I think this is the same thing. Whether you go with the negative or the positive values, you end up with these rooms. Not quite spheres. So you see, there's this. This is one. Um, at the center of this room, it's probably a very high value, and then values went down from there, or very low actually, something close to -1 in this case. And then over there was another one, maybe even a third one. Anyway, and then because they were close enough, then they end up connecting. So maybe the key is going with something close to 0. So let's try that. That'll be I think our last try for today. So it's like greater than 0, -0.5, and well, yeah, and less than 0.5. So now we should only get the in-betweens. I think this is going to be too much, so let's do 4. Oops. Value less than 4. Greater than -4. Okay. Caves. And push. Okay. Well, I think our range of values is too big, but um, yeah, this is a huge chasm. Yeah, let's lower the range that we're using. This might actually work pretty well if we did some more tweaks, like maybe change the height of the caves, or I mean, not the height, but the frequency. Well, which in turn will change the height, but Oh, there's the floating island. The floating, yeah, shape I was talking about earlier. See, by using the middle values, sure we get probably caves and pathways, but it's still going to be like a floating thing in the middle. Or maybe we combined, if we did something to combine like 2D and 3D algorithms, like we could have, let's say we had a 2D algorithm and we used the middle values of the 2D one. Actually, yeah, of the 2D one, and then did a 3D one and only cut out the pieces that overlap between the two. So we would have a network of caves, but we wouldn't get these floating islands in the middle. This range of values we took is still way too big. I wonder if it's too small. Let's try it, go down. It's quite a steep jump. Let's try it. And I think potentially with what we're doing now, caves are more likely to be, I think, I think they're probably more likely to be chasms or like places you fall down into. Yeah, this is giving me not quite what I want either. If we had a very small range, I wonder what that would look like. Is it too much of a jump to go this far? There's a cave. Floating island. Yeah, there may just be a sweet spot that would be something that is the way we want. I think we probably have to combine different operations. See here, this cave is basically enveloping a shape somewhere. This really does make chasms. So, different kind of cave, I guess. Look at that. It's like it cut straight through. Okay. Yeah, I think the ideal, or at least for the kind of cave that I was envisioning, where it's basically a tunnel that you go through and you're interconnected with other caves. I think definitely a combination of the 2D and 3D. Um, maybe overlap them somehow. Yeah, because we want the caves to go up and down, um, and we can use the 3D for that, or just two 2D ones. Anyway, so that's it for today. We've explored quite a few things with these caves. Let me know what you think. What was your favorite one out of all the things that we did? Um, and which ones you didn't like, which ones you wouldn't use. Um, yeah. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.